Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video here. So The Walking Dead is returning in 9 days, and we got some new teaser images here that I do want to talk about. There's a lot of stuff here from all of Season 11C. It's not just from the first 2 episodes here, so I want to break these down because a lot of these shots are actually very brand new. There's actually a couple of them that we have not seen at all before. Nothing in any of the trailers and stuff, and I really wonder what it indicates in terms of, like, specifically the CRM. But yeah, we'll talk about that. So anyways, before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of my Walking Dead content like this. The show is returning, like I said, in 9 days, so if you want to get my reviews, trailer breakdowns and stuff like that, information breakdowns and whatnot in the season, then definitely make sure to be a subscriber. Now, the first shot that we see here, we've obviously talked about this shot before. This shot is of Jerry and Aaron, and I believe this is from episode 19 because episode 19 is titled Variant, and I believe that one is going to focus on this new variant of Walker that we're going to be getting, right? And I still think there's going to be a pretty big death there. I wouldn't say big death, but I think there's going to be a death of a recognizable character there. I'm still thinking Elijah, just because of the trailer in that one shot. I think it makes a lot of sense, and you don't really see him a lot later on. Lydia is also a possibility as well. Like, Lydia could actually go as well, but I do think there's going to be somewhat of a bigger death, I think, in episode 19. But yeah, this shot here of Jerry and Aaron, I don't think this really indicates anything here. Like, Jerry's look is, he sort of looks a little like, I wonder if there's something around. But I believe when the walkers attack for the first time, I think it's going to be nighttime. I know there's a shot where it shows them climbing over the fence and it's daytime, but I think that's going to be more of a teaser. They're going to get inside the walls. But like later on, I imagine there's going to be a lot more stuff going on. I mean, it's going to be really insane because like I really wonder how they're going to get away. And I actually think this episode's probably going to be one of the better episodes of, I mean, it's hard to say that because we're in the last 8 episodes here, but I'm just thinking about how they're going to try and survive this, right? Like, they're going to go inside the house and just like, I guess lock the doors, or I guess that castle, and lock the doors and stuff like that. But the walkers are literally going to climb the fence and then just like open the doorknobs and stuff and get in. Aaron did mention at one point, like he heard stories, this and that. I hope he mentions that after he sees the zombies, because I think it would be a little too coincidental to mention that. Like, say they're just talking about zombies in general, or walkers, sorry. Say they're just talking about walkers, like, oh yeah, I heard these stories of like walkers that could climb walls and turn doorknobs or whatever he says. And then all of a sudden that night it happens to happen. Like that's way too coincidental. I'm just gonna laugh. Like, honestly, I think that's too hilarious and not really necessarily in a good way. So I hope that piece of dialogue actually happens beforehand, unless they do it in a way where it's not so cheesy. But yeah, anyways, go to the next shot here. This shot here is of Pamela Milton, and she has a microphone in front of her. So I imagine she's speaking, I guess, to the people of the Commonwealth, or I mean, I'm guessing that it has to be what it is, right? It seems like it because there's actually it looks like there's paper in front of her. She's holding something up here, so maybe she's reading something here. It's possible at this point some of the rioting and stuff is happening outside, so maybe that's just sort of what she's going through here. I mean, she does look super concerned about it. Another shot here of Carol. It's hard to predict where this is going to be, but I mean, just based off of her hair here, I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of that shot of when she's with Lance, and I think it's possible that she is in this scene. So yeah, nothing really to read into too much here, but yeah, I think she could be with Lance here in this scene. And then we have this shot here of Maggie. There's a couple shots like this of Maggie, and they're outside. And again, another shot here of Maggie. She's speaking with Gabriel here. It's probably in the same scene. I believe this is likely going to be all from episode 17, probably early on in the episode. And then we have Judith, and then there's RJ, and then Gracie here in the back. And I believe this is when they're speaking with Carol. Because Carol at this point, like, I mean, I guess all of them, they can hear the protesting outside. And I believe she actually spots a few other characters, and then I think she might go do some investigating and whatnot. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Another shot here of RJ and Gracie, and again, this is just kind of from the same scene. Here we actually have Annie, and, I will say, it's, with this character, it's so hard to say that she's going to survive. Like, if you're going to ask me, is she going to survive the season? I would have to say no, because I mean, The Walking Dead, Dead City, she's not a part of it. And there's just something off with her introduction. And usually if a character was going to matter more, I think they would introduce her a little bit better. Like, it was just so random, like we had this time jump out of nowhere. Again, and I think that's one of those criticisms I have about Angela Kang and her storytelling is the amount of time jumps. Like it's all right to jump forward in time a week or something like that, depending on the storyline, right? that's all right, because it's not like nothing really happens in a week. It's all right. But a few months, things can really change here. And I think that's the one thing with Annie that does kind of suck, because I actually do really like this character. You know, like we haven't really gotten a lot of screen time with her, but with what we've gotten, you know, she's been really cool. And I'll say that she's she's a cool character, but I just don't really buy the relationship that much. I just don't, because it kind of feels like she was introduced to be killed off, right? It just really feels like that. And so is she going to be a big death in episode 18? Maybe. But again, I think you're just going to have complaints about it either way, to be honest. I think if you kill the character off, people are going to be like, well, then what the hell was the point of introducing her? But if you keep her around for a while, people are going to complain about the fact that we never really saw how they met. We never saw any of that. This just felt like it literally came out of nowhere, right? So yeah, I don't know, unless we get a flashback episode of some stuff, but I doubt they're going to be doing that. I mean, they have a lot of stuff to actually get into here. We have a shot here of Yumiko and Pamela Milton, and obviously this is both of them trying to figure out likely how to deal with the protests and the rioting, and I think Pamela Milton is trying to figure out who posted that article. I mean, I guess she knows it was Connie, but she wants to know, I guess, who, you know, gave that information, and I believe they may suspect Yumiko. You know, Pamela Milton may as well suspect Max, because I think that makes the most sense. And then it's just sort of, where does Sebastian play a role in all that? Because obviously Sebastian knows, right? We have a shot here of Max, and I believe she's speaking with Yumiko here. Another shot of Yumiko, and I think this is also from the same scene here. So this is probably all, like, honestly, the last three shots are probably all related, all from the same scene or the same episode for sure. And then we have a shot here of Elijah and Jerry. This is from episode 19. Things seem super good and happy. But yeah, obviously it's not going to be like that for too long. I do think this is going to be from the early moments of episode 19. It just really feels like it. No way they're smiling like this and kind of happy after the nightmare they're about to deal with, right? Another shot here of Aaron, and yeah, Aaron just looks badass as usual. And then we have Carol with Lydia. I think this is probably from a little bit later on. This could be from episode 18 even, right? Like, I don't know when Lydia is with Carol. I know in episode 17, Carol is going to be with Judith, RJ, and Gracie and stuff, and she's going to do some investigating within the Commonwealth. You know, besides that, like, I could see her leaving afterwards, but Lydia is also dealing with some stuff with Aaron and all that. So maybe this is from episode 18. But if not, this may actually be from episode 20, so it could be from later on. And then here we have Eugene, and he's just kind of dealing with, you know, obviously the Commonwealth and stuff. I'm really interested in knowing when that shot's going to take place, because if you remember, there is a shot of Eugene. It happened during that behind-the-scenes teaser for, you know, what to expect for Season 11C, and we actually see Eugene at this podium when all this mayhem is happening in the Commonwealth, so you know, he's wearing the same outfit here, so I wonder if this is actually from that episode, like he's about to make this big speech. I mean, if you're looking at it, there's actually a banner, I think this could be the Commonwealth banner here on the right of him, right? The red and blue with like the white stripes. There's also seemingly a staircase right there. So maybe he's walking up to the podium here. Like, it's possible. Now, this shot here, and there's actually a shot right after this, I find very, very fascinating, because yeah, like, where the hell does this take place? We have a shot here of Herschel Ree and Maggie. And if you just look at the background, this looks like the Commonwealth train station, right? This actually looks like the Commonwealth train station, which means that Maggie has to be at the Commonwealth here. So I'm really wondering what actually happens here. Because if Maggie's at the Commonwealth, like, I mean, obviously that's going to be terrifying. I imagine there's going to be a confrontation at some point. You know, I've always been under the impression that it's like they're basically on the run, and they're forever going to be on the run, basically, for all the last 8 episodes until maybe the end. But obviously there's going to be some sort of confrontation beforehand. I actually wonder if maybe this could be even from episode 18 towards the end. Though based off of some of the early reviews and stuff, you know, like, they say that the episode 18 sort of pumps the brakes a little bit. So I imagine, like, maybe it's because of scenes like this. Maybe it's because there's some intensity here, but there's not a lot of action and stuff. Because we have a shot here of Pamela Milton with some Commonwealth soldiers. This is in the train station. I mean, just look at the stairs here and stuff, like, you can tell, and you go back to the shot of Maggie. It's the same type of metal and stuff here. So I believe Maggie and Pamela Milton, I guess they're not technically meeting for the first time, but I believe this is a meeting. And this is actually really fascinating because there's other shots, if you remember in the trailer, where you do see Pamela Milton on top and she's like screaming or something like that. And then I think Commonwealth soldiers are shooting below. Daryl as well also has his gun at some point here. So I actually wonder if that's what's happening here. Again, I don't think this is episode 18. That seems really intense for it to be episode 18. But episode 20? I mean, yeah, I could totally see this being a big showdown. Then we have Lydia here, and yeah, nothing really to read into here, but yeah, Lydia's here. We also have Rosita here in a church, and it looks like a lot of characters are actually in this church as well. We have Rosita. There's a shot of Daryl as well in the church. He actually has his vest on now, which he never had before, so that's interesting. So this likely isn't from episode 17. I'm guessing this has to be from 18, and I mean, if they're in a church, maybe they actually go to the Commonwealth, right? Like maybe that's actually where they go. It's hard to say. We also have Eugene. I believe this is also in a church, so again, same sort of deal. And then we have Ezekiel here, obviously in the bakery shop, and he has a first aid kit here. So yeah, there's also that storyline with Ezekiel where he's actually helping people out, right? Instead of it being a vet, he's actually helping people out. So what does the Commonwealth do when they find out about that? I mean, we know they're going to be arrested, right? In the trailer, there's a shot of all of them being arrested. So I imagine that's going to happen at some point. We have a shot here of Tommy, and he's in a doctor's office or something like that. And yeah, nothing really to read into here. This one here I find really interesting. We have Connie, Kelly, and Magna. Now, this is a behind the scenes photo, so obviously ignore the people in the back wearing the masks and stuff, but this is like, we haven't seen anything from them really. And we know that Connie's big storyline is going to be to discover what happened with Tyler Davis. This looks like it's going to be a night shot. And based off of the trailer, I don't really know where this fits in. So I think this is going to be from a little bit later on, you know, in the season. So I imagine episode 20 to 21 around there. And yeah, I'm excited for this because I imagine she's going to be the character, or these three characters in general may be the characters that find out some stuff about the CRM, because I'm trying to think who else, but Connie's the one who's really great at investigating, and obviously this is Connie's group right here, right? It's funny because in the comic we always called it Magna's group, but at this point I think people just call it Connie's group just because Connie is sort of the standout character from all of them. This shot here is a behind the scenes shot of Rosita, but obviously we know now that she is going to be on this trip with Mercer, and obviously that they're probably going to go after some walkers. That's kind of what I'm expecting with this, is Mercer takes Rosita out on this trip to go, you know, find this massive horde of walkers, because in the trailer we do see this massive horde of walkers out there, and I believe that's going to attack the Commonwealth, and I think it's actually going to infiltrate the Commonwealth, and it's going to be fun because there's a lot of people there obviously that haven't experienced walkers in like over 10 years, maybe even ever, right? Like I feel like there's certain characters that just have never been outside those walls ever. Like as soon as the apocalypse started, they were basically there and safe, right? Maybe they saw some stuff on the news, but basically things have been safe for them since. And I think that's going to be a really incredible scene. So anyways, yeah, really incredible shot here. And then this shot here, I just get the vibe, and I could be totally wrong, but I just get this vibe that this is from like really, really later on. I could be totally wrong again. I could be like very, very wrong with this, but it feels like this is from like episode 24 or episode 23. You know, it kind of feels like it's from the later moments. Maybe that, whatever that thing is there, that board or whatever, where they say like action, you know, when the scene starts filming or whatever, like maybe those numbers mean something there that proves that it actually, that's not right. But just based off of his outfit here, like this isn't anything he's wearing right now, you know, and later on for most of what's actually happening throughout, I guess, all of the last 8 episodes here, he's wearing that vest. And so here he's not wearing the vest. He also seems a little bit happier. I mean, obviously this is behind the scenes, so maybe this is before they're about to film. And so maybe he's just sort of smiling at something that someone like off camera said, right? But if you look behind him, like there's this green thing here. I'm actually wondering if this is a garage and if that's his motorcycle back there. Because if that's the case, maybe that's a connection to this shot here where Daryl's riding his motorcycle on this path and just sort of driving away or whatever. Because I've long theorized since we got this trailer anyways, that that's the final shot of The Walking Dead, where we see Daryl riding away, and that's sort of, that's the end, right? Like he seems really happy, everyone's good, and now he's going to go search for Rick. So that's kind of my prediction here, and I do think that's probably what this shot is. I think Daryl here knows that Rick's alive and he's just fixing up his bike. He's in the garage, you know, the Commonwealth has sort of been dealt with, this and that, and they're just kind of about to, well, he's going to be going out there, I guess, trying to find Rick, and then Maggie and Negan, they'll go do something else. But yeah, anyways, yeah, really fun going through all the shots here. A lot of the shots really meant nothing, but there were a lot that does give a lot more context here, and I just like the fact that we're getting a lot more promotion here for the last episodes. Like, honestly, I said that, but like, not a lot of people believe me, or at least I saw some people complaining about it online. Like, The Walking Dead, you know, it's the last episodes, but they're not doing a lot of promotion. I do agree they probably could have done a lot more promotion, but to be honest, it's because of Tales of the Walking Dead, and I think Tales of the Walking Dead just aired at a very awkward time. Like, I think that's just sort of what it was. But yeah, anyways, they're doing a lot of promotion now, so I'm definitely really excited. Like I said, The Walking Dead is returning in 9 days, so I'm super hyped for that. Make sure to be a subscriber if you do want more Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.